Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. Zhong Cage Fighting Series number 6 is going down November 12th at the heart of San Francisco, Keys Hall Pavilion. Right next to me, we have CJ Blackman, officially signed today, will be competing on our upcoming event. Now, CJ's been always fighting at light heavyweight, 205 pounds. This is the one in the beginning of his heavyweight career, fighting, moving up to the weight class. Now, CJ, let's talk a little bit about your personal life and what's going down, everything.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so like, I always follow you on Instagram, and I didn't realize you were a comedian, and it was actually pretty funny. You have a lot of jokes in there. But some of you guys don't know who he is. Make sure you guys follow him. Like, how long you been doing a comedian?
I've been a comedian for about 2.5 years. I've wanted to do it for a really long time, but the pandemic kind of made it more solidified. Like, hey, you know what? If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it now. Because I noticed when I was younger, I was always like writing jokes, doing like stupid little skits. Even when I was training karate and kickboxing way back in the day, I would make everyone in the room laugh just doing something silly. Or even when I would be sparring with people, I would like do little funny things just to mess with them, you know? So since I've been a little kid, I wanted to do comedy. And quarantine gave me kind of like the extra time because I couldn't really work. There were no fights. Yeah. I mean, you couldn't do anything. So I was like, okay, let me explore this route. And I love it. I mean, I love fighting. I love doing comedy. I love it all.
Where do you do your comedy at?
Oh, all over San Francisco, San Jose. I've done some shows in Austin and Miami. Hopefully one day I'll be able to go international with it. Because like, and you know, people always think like, oh, are you just going to do comedy? I'm like, no, I'm still fighting. I still love to fight. Still like to get in there, throw down. And then afterwards, you know, write a couple jokes.
Yeah. So now, I don't know anything about comedy, but Chris Rock is one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, he's a man. I saw him like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. So what type of preparation do you have to prepare for doing a show that's a lot of wins and a lot of...
Comedy, to tell you the truth, it's a lot like fighting in the sense of when you fight, obviously you gotta train, you gotta get your reps in, gotta get your mind right, gotta eat right, gotta sleep right. So I feel like being a fighter and being a martial artist most of my life actually made it easier to go into comedy because if I tell a joke and it doesn't hit, I'm not getting punched in the face, you know? But if, let's just say, I slack off on my cardio, I don't get enough sleep, I don't eat right, and I step into a fight and I have a bad day, I'm gonna get pretty messed up, right? So with comedy, it's like, yeah, you do a lot of writing, but you also have to do a lot of thinking. Just like with fighting, it's like, you have to look at yourself objectively and go, okay, what am I bad at? Am I bad at punching? Am I bad at kicking? How's my groundwork? How's my wrestling? Same thing with comedy. You have to look at yourself and go, okay, this joke worked, this one didn't work, okay, I'm gonna get rid of that one. I'm gonna add a new joke, try that out. So the same way a fighter thinks about fighting is the way a comedian looks at doing comedy.
Do you ever like have to like rehearse and then talk to yourself?
All the time. All the time. So it's like whenever you write your joke, like we
practice.
We rehearse in front of the mirror with the mic. Same thing with fighting, right? Like when we do shadow boxing, or you're at home, like traditional martial arts, you do katas, or even with jujitsu or wrestling, you're doing drills by yourself. The same way, you got to get those reps in. And the thing is, like, I can teach you how to throw a punch, but if you never practice it, when it's time to throw that punch, you might be like, and you're hesitating, right? Comedy's the same way. If you don't rehearse, if you don't practice, if you don't go over the reps, you'll get on stage, see all the people, and you're like, and you see it all the time too with new fighters. You'll get in there and they're gun shy, and you're like, oh, you ain't been doing this. Like, okay.
Interesting. Now, when is your next show?
Next show is next week, Wednesday, in the Marina. Obviously, I post everything on my Instagram, so if you guys want to follow me, all the way CJ, that's my Instagram. I have all my updates on there. I upload funny videos, skits, training montages. Like, I'm also a personal trainer, so I'll put up free personal training info. I mean, some of my fight videos, highlights are up there as well. So it's like, it's, you know, it's called All the Way CJ for a reason. It's all about me.
Where do you train at right now?
Right now I'm training with Infinite Martial Arts in the Marina, but I still go back and forth between Infinite Martial Arts and El Nino, you know, because El Nino was like my original team, so a lot of my friends are still there. Because during quarantine, things got a little jumbled around. So, but it's like, you know, cross-training team, because I like having both aspects because one focuses on wrestling, one's on jiu-jitsu, and you know, you get that different flavor, you know? Like for me, if you want to be a great fighter, you kind of have to pick the minds of so many different camps. Like, yeah, you can have one central group, but it doesn't say you can't buy videos or instructionals from someone else who you admire, learn digitally, and then go, okay, let me apply this. This might work for me. This might work. Because I see a lot of fighters who go, no, just this one thing is my thing. It's like, I'm just good at striking. I'm just going to strike. I'm just a wrestler. I'm just going to wrestle. Well, I'm like, if you're doing MMA,
everything.
It's everything.
Everything.
So even if you may be with a team who has great wrestling, great jiu-jitsu, but not great striking, there's so much knowledge out there on the internet, on BJJ fanatics, on wrestling fanatics, even on, like you could literally buy a video, see how, and then learn from there. You may not be able to go to that place, but there's so many people with so much different
sharing.
Exactly. And it's 2022. There's the internet. There's so much to learn. It's like, even though I'm a professional fighter, I tell people all the time, just because I fight pro doesn't mean I'm done learning. I learn new things. I learn new wrestling stuff every week. I learn new jiu-jitsu techniques every week. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I can apply all of that.
Right.
But you grow, you learn, you get a little bit of knowledge, you get more and more. So by the time I'm 60 years old, I'll know more then than I know right now.
Absolutely. Now, you're moving up to the heavyweight. Is going to be the weight class you want to stay on now from now on?
I mean, I like both because naturally I'm a heavyweight. I walk around like 240, 245. I'm a little heavy right now, so getting ready to the fight, I'm gonna slim down a little bit more to be a little bit lighter on my feet.
What's the ideal weight for you actually stepping into the cage on the fight day? How much?
I'll probably walk in about 240, 245. Yeah, because I don't like to be too heavy because obviously that eats up the cardio a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I fought at 205 where I'm light, I'm quick, I'm just not as strong because naturally I'm 240, 245 anyway.
Damn.
So normally when I cut down, don't get me, undercuts easy. Like I've never missed weight.
Yes.
But so it's like when I do step in at 205, I feel good, I feel light, I just don't feel strong. So I've fought heavyweights before, guys way bigger than me, 260, 270, we've sparred, and I've held my own, I've tossed them around, and I'm like, okay, I feel the best, no weight cut. I just walk in, all right, let's go. Yeah. Time to do it,
Well, definitely heavyweight, that's what people loved watching heavyweight fight. Because heavyweight got that knockout power. Got that one punch go sleep.
I mean, at 205 I had that too, but just never showcased it. But I feel like if anyone trains correctly, they're doing their cardio, they're doing their strength training, they're doing their plyometrics, they're eating right. I've seen little guys, lightweights, welterweights, who can hit you harder than I've been hit by heavyweights. I mean, I've known some people who are 180, 185 who can hit you and you're like, Jesus Christ, like they just hit you with a car. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's like how the person trains. Obviously, if you put in the time, you can develop that power. But heavyweights, we tend to,
finish it.
One little hit, you're just going to sleep. So
now, on this upcoming fight, you're fighting a guy, Frederick Muzio, that never even had a fight before, and they just have a couple jiu-jitsu tournament. Ideally, want to get on the card as an amateur, but I just don't have any heavyweight amateur fight for him. And he's like, I'll take the pro if you got somebody, and then happened to this fight just put together. How do you prepare for somebody like him that you have no clue how he's gonna fight?
So what I do know about him is obviously his grappling is strong. Mm-hmm. He trains with a good team, so he's gonna have the grappling. He's probably gonna have like pretty good wrestling. But I'm not stupid enough to think he's not working his punches, his kicks, his elbows, his knees, because this is MMA. Like it'd be crazy to not train everything. Obviously you have your strengths and you have your things that need to improve. So luckily I'm blessed enough to be around people who are great strikers, great wrestlers, great jiu-jitsu.
You can prepare for everything.
Exactly. Like I've rolled with black belts, purple belts, blue belts, white belts who are dangerous. I've trained with wrestlers. Obviously I grew up striking, so the striking part is my strength, but I'm not gonna go in there and think, oh, I'm gonna knock him out. It's MMA, anything can happen. So I'm preparing.
So true though.
Doing the card, like I've seen guys who are great strikers who get knocked out by a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy. And tell my opponent, I am not taking you for granted. I'm doing my work, I'm eating, I'm training. Like I'm stepping in there thinking you've had more fights than me. You are a black belt in jiu-jitsu, you grew up wrestling, and you know how to throw hands. So when I step into that cage, I'm ready for anything. Obviously, I'm pretty sure he's going to want the fight to be mainly on the ground. I'm cool with that. If you want to make a jiu-jitsu, we can get down and see who got the better jiu-jitsu.
One thing about you, CJ, you have so much more experience. You've been doing martial art for decades, so you have a lot of rounds in the cage. compared to Frederick. So definitely have an upside with the experience.
Yes.
That's something you can't really train on, you learn. You know,
Yes.
the experience, being in the cage, in the spotlight, in the crowd, that your body don't gun shy. You know?
That's true. But I've also seen guys who have made their debut, because I was like that. When I made my debut, I went up against a guy, it was, ironically, it's flip side. Years ago, I was Frederick, and he was me, you know what I'm saying? Where I made my debut against a guy who had 12 fights,
Oh shit.
10 wins, and I had trained, I had rounds and rounds and rounds of sparring, but it's different when the audience is looking at you, got the lights on you, you're like, my family's in the audience, like, and I went in there thinking like, oh, it's just a sparring match. Obviously not, but
Right.
my mindset, I went in there, boom, beat dude, and it was so, I know what it's like, Frederick, I know what it's like to be you. I'm not taking you for granted. You could go in there and ready to go. If he's gun shy, that's his issue. He got to deal with that. But I'm expecting him to come in there feeling like he's Godzilla. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm King Kong. So we're about to see which one of the big dogs gonna walk out of there.
Now, for this upcoming fight, do you have any special loved one, training partner, coaches, sponsors, supporters that you want to shout out to?
Just, my team, Infinite Martial Arts and El Nino Training Center. They've always been good to me. They've always treated me well. That's my team. They built me up from coming just from a karate kickboxer to now full-fledged MMA fighter, to where now, my grappling is good. Obviously, it can get better. My striking is good. It can get better. My wrestling is good. It can get better, because MMA, especially the Frederick, MMA is about levels. It's like, yeah, you'll get good at one thing, but not at the expense of the other thing. Because I know guys who like, oh yeah, my grappling's getting better, and then their hands start to slip.
Right.
Then their hands get better, and then their wrestling goes off. It's like everything, just levels to it. So, just a shout out to my team. Thank you guys for always supporting me. Family, always, showing love. They're always front row, ready to go. And all respect. It's like, I know my opponent, most people, they talk trash. Oh, Frederick, when you get in there, I'm gonna be at 100%. I hope you're 100%. I hope we have a good fight. Let's throw down, let's give the people a show. Hey, if you want to make it jiu-jitsu, we can jiu-jitsu. If you want to make it wrestling, we'll wrestle. If you want to throw hands, let's throw them down, all right? So I'm ready to go.
Now, I'm not looking at over Frederick on this upcoming fight, but
Not at all.
who else in the Bay Area that caught your eye that you want to fight?
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, there's a lot. I'm the type of dude where I'm always down to fight any heavyweight, any light heavyweight. Whoever wants to fight, seriously, it's an open invitation. If y'all want to throw down, meet me at light heavyweight, meet me at 215, 225, 240. If you want to fight, I am always down to throw down. I don't feel like, seriously, I'll fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. Obviously, I can't make 185, I'm too big, but if there's any 205ers, any heavyweights out there that want to throw down, it's a green light.
There we go. You guys heard it. CJ Blackman, anytime I offer him fights, he's down to scrap. Don't matter where, who, what way. This is one and
outside
only.
of injury or illness, I'm ready to go.
That's pretty awesome. Now, for more information about this upcoming event, guys, check out DragonHouseMMA.com. We have over 20 fights on this upcoming card. It's going to be 12 amateur, 8 to 10 pros. So do not miss it out. This event is live stream pay-per-view nationwide. You cannot make it. Make sure you guys order your live stream pay-per-view on DragonHouseMMA.com, and follow me on Instagram. Give me a subscribe, support me, show some love.
And then man right here has always been taking care of me, so that's the dude.
Now, do you have anything else you want to say to all the fight fans and anyone out there?
Hey guys, buy your tickets, buy it from Frederick, buy it from me, buy it from the man himself. Support the event. Us fighters, we really do appreciate everybody who comes out, who streams the fight. If you're in the audience, make noise. We do hear you, and we do appreciate the support. This is a rough life. Being a fighter is really hard. Trust me, mentally, physically, and financially. So please support the fighters. Support Zhong. Like, yo, he's taking care of a lot of us.
Thank you. And then we'll see you guys on November 12th. When is your next comedy show?
Next week, Wednesday. Come through, 7 o'clock.
Where's the location at?
At White Rabbit in the Marina. But I'll have everything on my Instagram, so, come show love.
Show you some love, support. You like to get a laugh and get a couple of tequila drink. Make sure you check out. I follow this man all the time. Every time he posts something up, first liked it. I love that. I'm gonna make it do one of these comedy shows and just chill for the night. So I'm Zhong signing out. Good to have you on board, CJ.
Hey, as always, my man.
See you guys November 12th.